Hey, what's going on guys? Michael with TechHeads here. Hope you're doing well. Today we're talking about the Nimbus wireless controller from SteelSeries. The Nimbus is a $50 Bluetooth connected gamepad which is good for gaming on a ton of different iOS devices, and SteelSeries is also advertising that this thing works with the Mac for gaming on OS X, but more on that in a little bit. Because even though you can technically play games on iOS and the Mac, the Nimbus's biggest selling point right now is the fact that it's compatible with Apple's newest 4th generation AppleTV, which now has the ability to play native third-party games. The only problem is the included remote with the Apple TV is terrible for games, which is where the Nimbus comes into play. So right off the bat, I can tell you that the build quality of this thing is extremely solid. It feels great in the hand and doesn't feel cheap at all, and it's about the same size and weight as an Xbox controller. And the button layout's pretty similar too, with the exception of the thumbsticks. On top, you've got dual pressure sensitive triggers on either side that have a great spring to them, an on-off button, Bluetooth connect button, and a lightning port for charging the internal battery, which SteelSeries says you can get 40 hours with on a single charge. In terms of size, again the Nimbus is pretty similar to an Xbox controller and a bit taller and narrower than a PS4 controller. Compared to the Wii U gamepad, okay, that really doesn't matter, that thing's huge. Once I got the Nimbus connected to my Apple TV, it immediately started working with zero configuration on my part. I was able to use it for navigating the menus, and the handful of games that I tested, including Alto's Adventure, Rayman Adventures, and Asphalt 8, all worked without any problems whatsoever. There didn't seem to be any latency or lag, and once I learned which buttons did what, it was all smooth sailing just if I was using a regular gaming console. But unfortunately, that's where the easy stuff stops. Going over to the iOS side, once I had it connected to my iPad Pro, I was immediately told that I had to go download an app for the Nimbus controller before it would work, which is not really a big deal, but just another step you have to take. Once I got the app installed, the controller worked well for the first game I tested, which was Alto's Adventure, but it failed on all 3 of the next games that I tested, which were Hitman Go, SimCity, and Does Not Commute. Now I guess I could see SimCity not working, but Hitman Go and Does Not Commute seemed like easy compatibility for controller, and I was a little surprised it didn't work. Jumping back inside the Nimbus controller app, and I see they actually have a complete list of all the apps that are compatible with the controller, and none of my games were. Jumping over to OS X, and things were a complete mess. I booted up Portal 2, and while I was able to actually use the Nimbus to navigate my way through the menu, the in-game button mappings were a complete mess, and no fiddling or tweaking on my part could seem to correct this. I couldn't even configure the thumbsticks for movement. Now I did some research online, and it looks like the Mac OS X side of things is where the Nimbus is actually most lacking. So at the end of the day guys, the Nimbus controller by SteelSeries is a really well built controller that feels great, and if you're looking to get one to use for your new Apple TV, I say go for it. But if you're looking at this controller to play games on iOS, you better check out the Nimbus app first and make sure the games that you want to play are actually listed, or you might find yourself out some cash. In terms of gaming on OS X, go ahead and buy yourself an Xbox controller instead, and save yourself the headaches of troubleshooting. So that's all for today guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do us a huge favor, hit that thumbs up button down below, subscribe to the channel for future videos, and we'll catch you in the next one.